What's up? A to Z Sports Titan Game Day Live. This is the Barton Insurance Group post-game show, and the Titans absolutely routed by the Jacksonville Jaguars in Nissan Stadium. Final score 36-22, and the Jags hung a bunch of unanswered points on the Titans before a late Titans touchdown made it a 14-point deficit and a 14-point differential in the final score, but not anywhere close to what that looks like here. Austin Stanley and Zach Bingham of A to Z Sports post-game show here live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So make sure you share the show and share your opinions, because we got a lot of them when it comes to this Titans football team, now losers of 3 consecutive and dropping to 7-6 on the season. The Jags 5-8, and the AFC South is not over by any means, where the Titans look to have the strongest hold on it back just a few weeks ago. But welcome everybody to the Barton Insurance postgame show presented by Erie Insurance. Barton Insurance is Middle Tennessee's premier insurance provider for both your personal home and auto coverage, plus small to mid-sized businesses. Check them out at BartonInsuranceGroupLLC.com. Also, thanks to our other sponsors of Titan Game Day Live, as well as MrGoodRoof.com. Go to MrGoodRoof.com, have them come out to your home for a free estimate, and then save $500 on a full roof replacement when you tell them A to Z Sports sent you. Also, Buddy Allen Carpet One, Buddy Allen Carpet One, Nashville.com for your free in-home measures and estimates for your flooring needs. The Crumble Cookies app, because after a loss, cookies make things better. Download the Crumble Cookie app, and BetMGM. Zach, I'll let you open it up, but just a complete disaster of a game after the first quarter. Everything else was terrible for the Titans, and they lose at home for the first time since 2013 to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, usually when you go to Crumble, you get like 1 or 2 cookies, because they're big cookies, they're thick cookies, and they're filling. Austin, damn it, we're gonna have to get a whole box to fulfill what we just saw. I mean, 36-22, the Titans tried to give their valiant effort of a comeback, but they're not built that way, as we talked about in the pregame. And man, I didn't think that the Titans were going to come out and play this way. I thought they were going to play a little bit more freer. I thought that they were going to be more efficient. And unfortunately, they were mistake-ridden with turnover after turnover that cost them and gave the Jags a ton of opportunity. And then credit the Jacksonville Jaguars, Doug Peterson and company. They took advantage of those mistakes. So let's give credit where credit is due. But, man, this is a disaster. This is a good old-fashioned ass whooping for the second straight week in a row. And the Tennessee Titans, you look at how phony they truly are. I think this justifies everything that was said. They are phony. They cannot beat good teams, and now they're getting beat by bad teams because they're beating themselves. So, how at the very beginning of the year, I predicted that 18 could come down to it. The Jacksonville, I didn't know how that was going to happen. That actually may happen. That actually may be the case, because the Jags have some momentum and they are 1 game ahead of the Tennessee Titans. They could win a tie break at the end of the season. That thing's going to be in Duval County. It's not going to be in Nashville. But Mike Vrabel has got to be embarrassed. Fans are leaving in the third quarter against the Jacksonville Jaguars. That is a problem, my friend.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start. That's just an absolute despicable performance by the Tennessee Titans. And the title of the postgame show is "The Titans Hit Rock Bottom," because Mike Vrabel's team got flat out embarrassed by a 4-8 Jags team coming into the game. 4 turnovers, a lot of them by players that are smarter than that. The turning point of the game was Derrick Henry's fumble. I don't know if the Titans would have won and continued to not have bad things happen if Derrick Henry didn't fumble, but Derrick Henry fumbled the football on the 20-yard line going in with 1:50 left in the first half, and the Titans had a 1-point lead. From that point on, it was all Jags, and it was all bad for the Titans. Injuries, mistakes, missed tackles, allowing guys to be wide open, not being able to blitz and get after Trevor Lawrence whatsoever, and then just terrible performance by the offensive line. Receivers not looking and ready for the ball. Derrick Henry not being used or relevant because you're down by 19 points, and then just terrible play calling from Todd Downing, backed up 3rd and 27, and then a direct snap to Derrick Henry where you fumble it again. I mean, it was just completely terrible by everybody that was in two-tone blue getting a check from Amy Adams Strunk, who was up in her box, probably as pissed off as you, the fans, are.
What's the point differential at the bottom of the screen?
14.
After that fumble, the Jags scored 14 straight points before the half and to start the third quarter. There's your 14 points. There's the tie ball game. 14 points based on that singular fumble, and the momentum swing that caused was massive. And look, I'm giving the love of the show, of this post-game show, and look, it's not because Sam's getting some lunch money. It's because Tyrus A absolutely, I think this comment epitomizes what I felt throughout the course of the game. The game felt like games pre-John Robinson. And that was a long, long time ago, right?
Yeah.
A lot has changed. Uniforms have changed. Coaches have changed. Mentality has changed. The roster has changed. But Tyrus is absolutely correct. Today's game felt like pre-John Robinson era of Tennessee Titans football. And that's just unfortunate because that's bad football.
It looked like the 2013 Titans that they were showing in the white helmet and the old jerseys with Ryan Fitzpatrick wearing the number 4 as the quarterback and getting strip sacked and run back for a touchdown against the metallic metal and black helmets of the Jags. Like, that's exactly what it looked like. And so, there's
the Jaguars jumping out of the shadows.
That was
their aesthetic jersey compilation for their helmet, which is stupid.
Really, really bad. But that's what this Titans team looked like. There was zero fight. There was zero organization. It was guys making mistakes who shouldn't make mistakes. Ryan Tannehill just getting sacked play after play. Dennis Daly continues to be absolutely terrible. And Nicholas Petit-Frere has slammed into a rookie wall. He is no longer good either. And everything is bad about this Titans offense, minus Chigakonkwo maybe, because he has not hit a rookie wall. He is blowing through it. But again, most of his production's happening when the game is already in hand. So
you can't win NFL football games with just your tight ends. I'm just going to say that. I'm going to say it one more time. You cannot win NFL football games solely on your tight ends. You have to have more. And this is a one-trick pony offense, Austin. 96 yards Derrick Henry had after the first quarter. Well, Derrick Henry ended the game with just 121 yards. I don't know this. How many carries did Derrick Henry have in the first quarter?
11.
He finished with 17. So he only carried the ball 6 more times in the second, in the third, and in the fourth quarter. If the Jacksonville Jaguars take that away from the Tennessee Titans, which they did, the Titans lose. It's the recipe. It's Betty Crocker, baby. We know exactly how to beat the Tennessee Titans. You take Derrick Henry away, and once that happened, they made mistakes. They got behind, and this team does not have the players or the talent to come back and win. They're talentless. That's why J-Rob was fired earlier this week. They don't have the talent. And so when you get behind, even against the Jaguars, you can't come back. You don't have the players. And so Amy Adams Strunk, I don't want to say she punted on this season after firing J-Rob, but damn it, it sure feels very, very close to that, Austin. And I never thought that we would say that. An owner at 7-5, now 7-6, punting on a season when you are first place in your division and really have a stranglehold on an opportunity to win your division for the 3rd straight year and host another playoff game. But Austin, this feels like the Titans are going the absolute wrong direction and are wilting underneath the spotlight of what this NFL season is representing for them.
Yeah. And you mentioned Derrick Henry had 121 yards, right, in the game rushing. He had 119 at halftime.
2
yards in the second half for
2.
Derrick Henry. 2. 2 full rushing yards.
2?
2.
That, and Kick It to King production brings up first 3 plays of offense in the third quarter isn't enough to fire Downing. Nothing will get this man fired with Vrabel still a head coach. I do believe that everybody's on the chopping block. Obviously, now that John Robinson is fired, they're not going to, I don't want to actually say anything because I don't know what the hell is going to happen, right? But everybody is up for assessment on this roster, on this coaching staff, on this scouting staff. It doesn't matter. So this is serious business. The Titans, 2 yards rushing in the second half for Derrick Henry.
Yep. 96 in the first quarter, 23 in the second quarter, 2 in the second half.
And Narv Dude says, not a good football team, won it out in the playoffs. Look, dude, they got to make the playoffs, dude.
Yeah.
The Jags now, look, they're scratching and clawing. I'm not sitting here saying that the Titans aren't more likely to win out and win the division to make the playoffs and host a playoff game. But, dude, I'm telling you, this is now not a complete lock with the way that they're playing, with the way that they're coaching, and I think first and foremost, Austin, the mentality of this team. Obviously, what happened this week did something to this football team.
And I put out the tweet, halfway tongue in cheek joking, but the Titans clearly went the wrong direction at their crossroads. And Mike Vrabel, what the crossroads comment was supposed to be was Mike Vrabel challenging the players in that locker room saying, hey, we're getting our asses kicked now a couple of times in a row. We have 2 ways we can go about it. We can buck up and work through it, or you can put your tail between your legs and go home and cry about it. And the Titans had their tail between their legs against the 4-8 Jacksonville Jaguars.
Now
they folded. The Titans folded like beach chairs so quickly in the second half. I mean, they would have been better off if the Titans would have allowed Agnew to return the second half kickoff back for a touchdown so they could have more time on the clock to try to come back. Get it over with. If you're going to score a touchdown, do it in 10 seconds instead of 8 minutes, because the Jags walked right down the field in 7.5, 8 minutes to make that a big time lead. And then the Titans went, as a commenter pointed out, Jeff Swaim, personal foul block, -12. Then a 1st and 22 run, 0 yards. Tannehill sacked, 3rd and 27. Just run a tight end screen inside your own 10-yard line to lose 4 more yards and punt away from your own 3. There's just so many terrible things the Titans did. I don't understand the third quarter, man. The third quarter does not make any sense to me of how the Titans are that awful in the third quarter. It's a joke. It's comedic.
Well, and that's what had Jacksonville pull away. We got a lot of comments like Brian, Amy firing Downing this week. Downing needs to go. Jared says clowning. John says Tannehill called his own plays to get a touchdown on one drive. Why can't Downing do the same for the rest of the game? Downing has to go. So we all know that the Titans fans are fed up with Todd Downing. But Austin, don't you think that this loss solidifies why Amy Adams Strunk fired John Robinson earlier this week? I believe that it does, because they got into a situation where they were a better football team, but mistakes got them behind in the first half. Look, we've seen it time and time again. The Titans can come back, but to this degree, they don't have the players. And John Robinson constructed this roster, whether it is Racy McMath coming off of IR, whether it was Dennis Daly trying to block as best as he could, I don't even know, whether it was Derrick Henry, whatever it is, the way that this roster was constructed has John Robinson's hands all over it. Mm-hmm. And in these games, I think it comes to fruition and comes to light that they literally physically cannot come back. When you're down 14 or 17 points, they cannot come back. They don't have it. They don't have the football team. That's on John Robinson. And I would say I'd rather have Amy Adams-Strunk realize that sooner rather than later, because this type of football doesn't work. It doesn't work consistently. And we've seen like the drop in the hat, the Packers game. We've seen good football. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's putrid all around, but I think it's a justification.
But I think they're making dumb mistakes every third quarter. At some point, that's on the coaches. The offensive coaching staff continues to have their guys that are on the team, that are starters, that are contributors on the offense, continue to make stupid things happen in the third quarter and the second half. The first half was great, Zach. Like, let's just go through the very beginning of the game. The Titans had a 10-play drive for 76 yards. The strip sack fumble happened because Dennis Daly's terrible. We know that. But then they came back, 6-play, 75-yard touchdown. Then they were driving 33 yards and threw the interception because NWI wasn't paying attention. Then they were driving again, had 39 yards before Derrick Henry fumbled. They had 230 yards in the first half of the game. 230 yards in the first half of the game. Zach, on their first 7 plays of the second half, they had minus 31 yards. In the first 7 plays of the second half, that includes the fourth quarter, they had minus 31 yards. That includes penalties because there was a penalty on Daly and the penalty on Swain. So those two guys did dumb stuff to hurt the football team. Todd Downing called dumb plays to hurt the football team, and Derrick Henry dropped a snap that the play shouldn't have been called in the first place. Their first 7 offensive snaps through the entire third quarter and their first 2 opportunities in the fourth quarter, minus 31 yards. That is insane, guys.
That's almost as insane as 2 rushing yards for Derrick Henry in the second half after rushing for over 100 in the first. I mean, that I do think I've never seen that. That is the, if you showed that to somebody, you would say, well, yeah, Derrick Henry probably didn't finish the game due to injury or something. Well, no, he did finish the game. And Dontrell Hilliard going out early, I do think cost the team. That's something, a guy that you brought up in the pregame show, that hurt them because he leads the team in receiving touchdowns.
Yeah. I smiled because you mentioned the Derrick Henry thing. Zach, Derrick Henry averaged 7.1 yards per carry, and the Titans lost by 14 points, and it wasn't even that close.
I'm going to save my take for tomorrow morning, but I have an analogy that just kind of came to mind that I do think makes more sense of why the Titans are failing. I'll save that for tomorrow, but I'm locked in on that.
All right, let's go ahead and get you guys more involved here in the chat on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We always ask, what is one word to describe this Titans loss to the Jags today? What is one word to describe this Titans loss to the Jags today? This one's ugly, but you can use a lot more descriptive words than that. But Zach, first, tell everybody about who presents this show. This is the Barton Insurance Group postgame show.
Yeah, Barton Insurance. Look, I personally have Barton Insurance. A to Z Sports as a company has Barton Insurance. Middle Tennessee's premier insurance provider for both personal, home, and auto coverage and small to mid-sized businesses. Look, Barton Insurance Group, LLC.com. That's 615-806-1265. What separates Barton Insurance from other companies, unlike most insurance companies, Barton Insurance, 100% locally owned, independent insurance broker that partners with over a dozen different insurance companies, giving you the best rate and the best partner. Now, they found my best partner with Erie Insurance. They give me my better coverage with my personal home and personal car insurance. That's Erie, so shout out to them. And Barton Insurance also provides A to Z Sports, us as a company. So if you own a company, you can have Barton Insurance insure you. If you're an individual, you can also have them insure you. That's 615-806-1265 or BartonInsuranceGroupLLC.com.
All right, let's get to one words, everybody, here live on the Barton Insurance Group post-game show. Titans lose 36 to 22. TJ just says sigh. The online romance scam channel just says sick. Larry says disappointed. Dustin says atrocious. Mark Beach says doom. Very embarrassing. Atrocious coming in from Puka. Evident there on YouTube as well. Pathetic from Nick. Slaw from Desi Nate.
Ooh, I
Dwayne
like that.
says talentless. Slaw. Zach, when you hear the word slaw and you think about the Tennessee Titans, who comes to mind? Because that's the pre-John Robinson era, and I think you know who I'm talking about.
Well, I'd say Cody Sensaslaw.
Bingo. And because you said today felt like pre-John Robinson Titans, and Cody Sensabaugh / Sensaslaw definitely was pre-John Robinson Tennessee Titans. Kenneth says, yikes. Confirmation coming from Sightseeing. Done from Skip. Revealing from Reginald. Talentless again. More embarrassing. Anemic coming in from Justin. Horrendous from Titan Two-Tone. 2015. Levi just puts a year on it, which is not incorrect either. Pathetic 2.0. Embarrassed. Rebuild. Trash. IR. Predicted. Talentless. Clowning. I mean, there's a lot. Zach, what is your one word today?
Well, I'm going to get to Philip. Philip basically says
Okay.
Vrabel. Philip brings up something. This actually, I think, has some merit. Every year, Vrabel overlooks a bad team, doesn't prepare the team well, and the Titans lose. Look at losses to the 2019 Jaguars, that was in Jacksonville, the 2020 Bengals, that was in Cincinnati, the 2021 Jets, that was in New York, and now the 2022 Jaguars, that was in Nashville, the annually Vrabel special. So the annual Vrabel special is not a good special. That's not one that you want to go wine and dine somebody with. My one word is miserable. That was miserable. It is that's the easiest word that I can think of. It's what comes to mind watching that game. It was the second half. It was Derrick Henry in the second half. It was the passing game. It was the offensive line. It was the secondary. It was the defense getting cooked by Evan Ingram and the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was Miz. M-I-Z. That's what it is. You can shorten it down, but that was miserable on all fronts. And I don't even know, and this is, we do the postgame show during Vrabel's, press conference. I don't even know what the hell he's going to be able to say. It's a rough week. We didn't come prepared. Yeah, we know that. Like, what can you say? Turnovers. I mean, yeah, you're saying all the things that we saw, but why did that happen? It's your responsibility as the head coach to get your players ready to play, and not a single player was ready to play for 4 quarters. And that, I think, is an indictment. And I got to agree with Philip on the head football coach. Doesn't matter if your general manager gets fired. The owner made that decision. But it's your job to get your guys ready to roll for all 4 quarters of play. And they were ready for 1 quarter. And it wasn't the 4th.
Yeah. Jared says, I got to coach better, play better, right? That's Vrabel's notorious line there. No, I can just feel it in my bones that Mike Vrabel is going to say, you can't win in this league when you turn the ball over 4 times. And you brought up the Jets game from that one commenter who brought up all the Vrabel type games. Zach, this game today reminded me more of the Houston Texans home loss last year when the Titans turned the ball over 5 times. Nothing went right. But in that game, the Titans defense,
all these games, they were in it. Cincinnati, I'd have to look back because I know they got the pick at the red zone. I'm having like flashbacks. I do know that the Titans wore navy over white that game. But this game wasn't close, Austin. The Titans were not even in striking distance. And speaking of the Texans, I don't know if you were watching the Cowboys-Texans game. Yeah. Cowboys were slugging through that, and they actually had an opportunity to get back into the game. The Titans never did. They were down multi-scores throughout the course of the second half.
I think my one word, because Van says Mike Vrabel has hit a plateau. I don't necessarily think Mike Vrabel as a coach has hit a plateau. Now, do you want to talk about this team? Do you want to talk about this Titans 2022 team? has hit a plateau, I could buy that. But my one word, Zach, is sinking. This is a sinking ship, man. Like, this thing is done. Like, the Titans are sinking, and they have highly paid players who are folding when adversity hits. I thought Bud Dupree and Robert Woods showed up to play in that first quarter. Those two guys were making plays. Robert Woods had 4 catches, 40-something yards. Bud Dupree had a tackle for loss, had another nice couple of plays, had a big hit on Trevor Lawrence early. And then guess what? He started getting his own teammates' ways and dropping in pass coverage and not tackling and try to throw his shoulder into a runner and not wrap up and allowing the guy to gain yards. He jumped off sides. He's allowing a pass down the field to a wide. First off, he's covering a wide receiver on the sideline 20 yards down the field on 3rd and 7. That's not smart defense. But Bud Dupree was making mistakes. Robert Woods came out hot, started playing well. Then all of a sudden, dropped passing, had a ball hit him in the chest, didn't field a punt when he was supposed to be back there to field a punt, and wasted seconds and almost turned the ball over. They're having veteran guys who are being paid a lot of money, who have a lot of money on the line for what they do the rest of this season, who folded in the middle of the game. As soon as the Jags get up by multiple touchdowns, Bud Dupree and Robert Woods started hurting their team instead of helping them like they did earlier. And so this team is sinking. And I have more opinion to go along with that we can get to Monday, Tuesday, or whenever. But this team is going nowhere really fast, and they don't have the ability to save it right now.
No. Well, and, DeMar, and I agree with what you said to start that, which the team has hit the plateau, not Vrabel. Amy Adams Strunk literally, by her actions, told us that. The team has hit the plateau. Vrabel's cooking the food. They fired the guy that was going to the grocery store. That was the problem. Their ingredients, they weren't shopping at Whole Foods and shopping organic with the best possible vegetables and best meats that you can buy. They were shopping at, crap ass Walmart, excuse me, but that deli section blows. It's no good. So that it's the guy who's buying the groceries. And now Mike Vrabel, he's a coach of the year last year. He's not hit a plateau. He's just dealing with guys and an offense. Now, I'm not saying Vrabel is completely banned from criticism. Like, I think Philip brought up the good comment is that he loses to bad teams on a consistent basis. He's got to eliminate that. Yeah, they were better than the Jags today. That's
the NFL, though. That's the NFL. Like, the Lions beat the Vikings today.
Right. And Vegas called that, essentially. But, Vrabel is not far from criticism. But, guys, we know, he's dealing with NWI. Hooper that was picked up off the streets of free agency because he wasn't worth the contract of the Cleveland Browns. Robert Woods, who they traded for, John Robinson traded for him, not Mike Vrabel. That's how that worked.
Yeah,
and
but
then
again,
they traded away their best offensive asset besides Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown. That's not Vrabel. So, Vrabel is only working with the guys that he was provided.
And Michael Billington brings up, Vrabel can't control the turnovers, right? That's not, those turnovers are not Mike Vrabel's fault. Dennis Daly still being the left tackle is partially Mike Vrabel's fault.
Yeah, he shares when
but Derrick Henry
turns the football over, the coach does get a hint of blame.
We have to talk about
why did NWI not know where to go?
Well, and
no, again, I know. I'm asking. Why did NWI not know where to go?
Well, for one, I don't know precisely, but my theory on it is that Tannehill made a check at the line of scrimmage and NWI did not pick up on it or read it the wrong way. I don't know what
communication issues.
Yeah, I'm not making an excuse.
I'm
not making an excuse. I'm telling you what happened. I'm telling you what happened. Tannehill made a check. NWI did not pick it up and did whatever the previous play was and interception the other way. But the strip sack with Dennis Daly just getting whipped up front and Tannehill getting sacked and fumbling, that's a Dennis Daly thing. Derrick Henry fumbling when he's running the ball after a catch, that's the second time in 3 games that he's done that. Do not let that be a trend. Mike Vrabel's got to step in on that. And then Todd Downing calling the trick play direct snap in the fourth quarter when you're down by 19 points and your offense went -8 yards the entire third quarter, not including the penalties. That is just stupid. And Mike Vrabel should be held accountable and criticized for Todd Downing's mistakes that continue to happen throughout this season.
And I guess I was, Jacob, you're right. I was thinking about those nasty wideouts in NWO. Well, that nasty wideout, A.J. Brown had 70 and a touchdown. That's not on the Titans roster. This is, I mean, man, it's not getting any better. Like,
no, it's getting worse. It's sinking.
We're too far into the season. We know exactly what this team is. I mean, we covered football for a long, long time. And I honestly, I kind of called this. I thought they were going to make the playoffs and lose in the playoffs. That's the trajectory of this team is that. It would be a travesty if they don't make the playoffs. I just can't in my mind. I don't see that happening. But Austin, I mean, they lost to the Jags. They've got to travel all the way to LA to play the Chargers. The Texans are getting better. I'm not saying they're good. Then they play a Cowboys team that is efficient. The Cowboys are good. Their offense, if they score points, the Titans struggle to. And then that all comes down to week 18 against the Jacksonville Jaguars down in Florida. I mean, I cannot see them not making the playoffs, but I think teams are going to start playing them like the Jags did, like the Bengals did, like the Eagles did, like the Bills did.
Yeah. And the Jags, what they do, they did not run the ball well. The Titans defense is really good at stopping the run.
Yeah, they're really good.
But the Jags decide, hey, let's just drop back and throw it 45 times on them and see what happens. What happens is Trevor Lawrence had a career day. I'm going to get to this because we got a super chat here on YouTube saying the team needs a new identity and get Tannehill and Todd out of town fast. Ryan Tannehill is not the problem. We'll get to Ryan Tannehill here in a second when we grade the quarterbacks always presented by Crumble Cookies. But Zach, it's time, man. Todd Downing there is no logical reason for Todd Downing to call plays against the LA Chargers next Sunday.
You think this is the week that they blow? They're now the dynamite is starting to explode, right? You're tearing a building down and you're going to start over or renovate. I don't think they're going to start over.
No, I said this last week pre John Robinson firing that Todd Downing should give it up to Tim Kelly and find out what Tim Kelly can do as a play caller for the next 5 games.
You don't know anything about Tim Kelly, Austin.
Zach, he called plays in Houston the last 2 years.
But
we know that.
We don't talk to him.
Zach, stop for a second. I don't care. I know what I have in Todd Downing. I know what Todd Downing is, and it's not good. So what? You got 4 games left. There is zero reason to have Todd Downing back next year. Zero. I don't care.
We all agree that. I mean,
right?
The chat, this
so
is 100% from the chat. So
guess what? You have an opportunity to have a guy on your staff who has multiple years of NFL play calling experience, and you've got 4 games right now in the regular season to find out if he's got something. So get rid of Todd Downing now, hand it over to Tim Kelly, and experiment and find out if Tim Kelly can be your guy moving forward. And maybe, just maybe, the offense gets better. Maybe, just maybe, Tim Kelly doesn't call the stupid 3rd and 27 screen passes that loses 3 yards. Maybe Tim Kelly doesn't call a run play that gains 0 yards on 2nd and 10 to set up 3rd and 10 that leads to a sack. Maybe Tim Kelly's better than Todd Downing and can help save somewhat of the Titans division. But Todd Downing can't do it. He's shown us so many times. So you got 4 chances. Amy Adams Strunk made a decision and fired John Robinson with 5 games left. She said, let's see what Ryan Cowden can do for 5 games. Let's just see what he can do. It's an opportunity. It's a trial. It's a rehearsal. And I think Tim Kelly needs the same shot. Get rid of Todd Downing. They're not going anywhere with Todd Downing. Maybe they can go a little bit somewhere with Tim Kelly. It's time. It's done.
So Don brings up the point, kind of the overarching of, going to get to the point where players don't want to play for this team. There's going to be, if all of this is changing, Austin, I think Dom, that is, I think, in the back of everybody's mind, the fear is that this season goes south after what happened.
I honestly don't know if that's a bad thing. And that's what I want to talk about moving forward Monday or Tuesday. I don't know if that's a bad thing for the team.
Well, there's still like multiple games left.
No, I know. I don't know if it's a bad thing if this team
the season,
stinks.
it's hard to make the playoffs.
I know. Yeah. The Titans are going to make it really easy to miss out on a.
They got 4 games left. They're on a 3-game losing streak. Yeah, you can't quit on the season, but that's up to the players. And John says anyone who thinks Tannehill is the problem needs to remember what it's like with Malik Willis. The problem is 80% downing, 20% the players. Now, John, that's incorrect. You are wrong on the percentage. Look, it's shared that Downing and the talent are the problem, but the owner of the team, John, told you exactly that the talent is the issue. So sorry. I read it because, you gave Sam, money to get a Coke at lunch, but it's the players. So if the players quit or check out,
I don't think the players are going to quit, because if the players quit, they're putting that on tape for their next employer.
Well,
right?
they quit today.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
They got beat, dude. They got beat down.
Yeah. I'm going to come short of saying that the Titans quit today. I just think they were head cases. I don't think they got punched in the mouth, and they got, their eyes watered, and they couldn't figure out how to clear it up. And by the time they did, it was way too late.
They just did that last Sunday. They just came from that. They learned. So you're saying they learned nothing from?
No. So I think we have to look at this game and understand that today's version of the Titans are terrible on offense and bad on defense. But the reasons why both sides of the ball are struggling are different. The defense is decimated by injury. You don't have guys out there that you expect to play like several layers deep all over.
Also,
the offense.
You're in this part of the football season.
No, I know. But like, you have to look at.
It's going to be this way.
No, but look at the offense though. The offense doesn't really have as many injuries. They have 4 of their 5 offensive linemen that they planned to start the season with. Listen to 4 of the 5. They have them that they planned to start the season with, and they're that bad. Dennis Daly might be the worst left tackle in the NFL, but he is also really set up next to guys who are not playing very, very well either. So they planned for Aaron Brewer in PF and Nate Davis and also Ben Jones there.
Right. Left tackle is the most important position on the line. So there's that. And the 2 guys that they drafted have been riddled with injury. And we talked about this, Austin, what John Robinson, formerly the general manager of the Tennessee Titans, did was he put all of his chips on 2 rookies. That was the issue. And both of those rookies are gone.
Zach, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Playing.
Zach, I'm not disagreeing with you. My point is, both sides of the ball were terrible today. They gave up a ton of yards to the Jags on defense, and the Titans offense turned the ball over 4 times. But the reasons why they're bad is different. The offense is bad because they set themselves up to have a crappy offense from the very beginning this season. The defense was playing lights out through September and October until injuries caught up to the majority of them. Like, Jeffrey Simmons has been a non-factor the last 4 weeks. He's out there, he's working through it, but he's been a non-factor because he's got a bad ankle, and he's a big dude on a bad ankle. It doesn't work very well. But the defense has Dylan Cole and Monty Rice as their inside linebackers, not David Long Jr. or Zach Cunningham. Like, Andrew Adams was Terrence
Bills don't
Mitchell.
have Von Miller. I mean, it's this part of the season. Man.
No, but it's like the defense is so decimated beyond belief. Like, this
was the same script last year, though, Austin. The same thing. You were sitting here saying that. I mean, they're injured, right? It's NFL football, where football teams do very, very well. Obviously, you do need some luck to stay healthy. Like the Eagles' offense, well, when they blow teams out, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts don't play in the fourth quarter. Like, that's how good they are. So, but the Titans don't get that luxury, and they're just not set up very well.
My point that I'm making is that the difference in the offense and the defense right now is the defense is riddled with injury. And like, somebody said here on the comments, Bill says they have no depth. Well, it's because their depth is hurt. Like their starters are hurt and their depth is hurt on defense. But the offense, they have a lot of the main pieces that were programmed and planned to go in it with.
They're bad.
That's my point.
They were always bad.
Again, that's my point. And so like now that the defense has fallen apart because of injuries, they have nothing.
Yeah. That's and what do we expect was going to happen?
Yeah.
That people are going to rise above, that, Kyle Phillips was going to be this, the next incarceration of Wes Welker, right? But no, he hurt. He's not even playing. So like, that is the talent problem. They have it. It's riddled. And I don't know where they're going to, I don't know how this season's going to end, but when you're already let's say, I don't know, because they're not a bad football team, but they're getting to that point. That's where the turnovers really, really affect you even more. And that's what we saw today.
Yeah, so the Titans have lost 3 straight. Somebody just mentioned, Danico Autry's injury. He got hurt against Green Bay. So in the 3 games the Titans have played, all 3 losses without Danico Autry, 3 total sacks in those 3 games. That's a big difference, right? Danico Autry out, Christian Fulton out, Trey Avery, who was coming along, out. You've got David Long Jr., who, why did Evan Ingram have such a massive day today? Because he was getting covered by Dylan Cole. And David Long Jr. is so much better than Dylan Cole.
Oh, yes.
Right. And so like, that's my point here, is that the Titans defense is bad because they've had really awful injury luck and circumstances. The Titans offense is bad because the coordinator is bad and the players that they signed up and rolled with going into the season are not good enough. That's my point.
Facts.
Yeah.
And then Caleb Farley is such a miss, and then the injury, that he can't come in and play, right? So, Christian Fulton, the impact of Fulton not being there is less if your first round pick is actually worth a damn, and he is worth 0 damns.
And Elijah Molden, right? All these guys, like, that's why I said that, like, the starters are hurt and the depth is hurt.
That's funny. I mean, that was funny.
Charles asked, when does Dennis Daly get cut? I don't know what's worse, Dennis Daly at left tackle or the fact the Titans don't have anybody else to be better than him. It's atrocious. It's ridiculous that Dennis Daly is still out there playing left tackle, getting Ryan Tannehill smacked upside the head every week. So let's go ahead and talk about Ryan Tannehill, Zach, because we have not graded the quarterback today. We're 43 plus minutes into this post-game show. The Titans lose 36-22. It wasn't that close to the Jacksonville Jaguars in Nissan Stadium. First time the Jags win in Nashville since 2013. We always grade the quarterback in the post-game show, win or lose. So let's grade Ryan Tannehill, presented by Crumble Cookies. And I don't know about you, but I might head down the street to 21st Avenue and go get some Crumble Cookies after this game, because you said your one word was miserable. I think a lot of people felt miserable watching that Titans game. So you can fix that miserable feeling with some awesome fresh baked Crumble Cookies from the Crumble Cookies near you. Download the Crumble Cookie app and you can find the nearest location near you. It doesn't matter how far it is, because they've got delivery, they've got shipping, they've got takeout, curbside pickup, or you just walk in and see the open concept kitchen and smell all the goodness that 175 flavors of rotating Crumble Cookies have. So it's fantastic. Download the Crumble Cookie app, or how about this? Go get a gift card and then you put that in the stocking stuffer. If you need something else to add, you got a couple weeks out from Christmas and you need something a little else, Crumble Cookie gift card will go a long way. It's always undefeated. Crumble Cookies grading Ryan Tannehill's performance. Zach, in the box score, Ryan Tannehill was 25 of 38, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. That was not his fault. A fumble, also not his fault. 4 sacks overall. What's the chat saying on grading Ryan Tannehill?
Well, Jared starts off with a B, which is surprising. SCP goes C minus. Mick goes B. Andrew says B. Kirk says F. Anthony goes C. F right there from Hart. Randy says D minus. Andre says A minus. C minus from Ethan. D from Zoe. Jacob says C. C as usual from Zook. C from Matt. F minus again. C from Michael Kennedy. Anthony says C minus. Tammy goes D. Scott says C. Amanda says D. C plus for Tannehill from Puka. F from Tennessee T. Jambi says B. B minus from Jay Woods. F from Jack. B minus from Sean. So a lot of kind of all over the place. We've got C from Chris Frazier. C from Michael Billington. D plus from Joseph. Where do you reside here? You got C minus for clowning. You get a lot of clownings in there.
I have such a hard time with Tannehill's grades this season because the guy's out there taking hits, running for first downs on 2 bad ankles now, making some nice plays. But I think today a flat C is probably a correct grade. He didn't have a lot of help. It wasn't his fault that he threw a pick. NWI was not on the same page. That feels like an NWI problem. It's not his fault that Derrick Henry fumbled the football after a nice catch and run and a good decision by Tannehill to find him that potentially could have robbed Ryan Tannehill and the Titans offense of putting together a touchdown drive to go up by 8 in the first half. And he's not calling the plays that set up 3rd and 27 for a -4 yards. He's not calling the plays where Henry fumbles a direct snap. He's got no offensive line to protect him. I just have to give him a C plus. There were times today where he threw into double coverage, I thought unnecessarily, so I'll dock him on that. But Ryan Tannehill is playing as gutsy as he possibly can this season, and he needs to get credit for that. And he's still making plays. And that guy, you talk about quitting on the team, Ryan Tannehill does not quit on the football team. That guy on 2 bad ankles ran for a first down head first, down 22 points to set up a 1st and goal to try to score touchdown to cut it to 14. Like I think Ryan Tannehill gets a C. I think it's fair. But he's not the problem.
No, he's not the problem, but he's not the solution either. I said that after Cincinnati. He's not the solution. And I think John Robinson set Ryan Tannehill up to fail this year because of what he didn't surround him with. You have Derrick Henry, but that's only one guy. I would say probably he gets a C. I wouldn't give him a C plus. I think it's a C performance. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of things what you said are true. Your blind side, you can't help that Dennis Daly, can't block a glass of water. Like, guys drop passes too. I would ask, and if you ask Ryan Tannehill what happened with the NWI communication, I don't think he's going to throw NWI under the bus. That's just not his personality. But he's gutsy. He stayed in the game. I think it's a C performance. But he knows. Ryan Tannehill knows he's not an idiot. Mm-hmm. He knows that if his team gets down by 14 or more points, the probability of his team winning goes down dramatically. It's probably a 14% chance that the Titans win if they're down 14 points. And some of that is on him. I mean, some of it is, right? He's not Josh Allen. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not those type of guys that Joe Burrow that can make the plays. But he also doesn't have the surrounding pieces. So I give him a C today. We've seen D performances and F performances from him. We've also seen A plus performances from him. So I think it's somewhere in the middle. I give him a C.
Yeah, it's tough. The play right before the interception, that's the hurt. That's what really hurts. The interception happened on 1st and 10 at the Jags 38 after Tannehill hit Robert Woods on a great throw and catch for 17 yards on 3rd down. Like there were so many things where you saw opportunities to build on success on the Titans offense. But again, something stupid shot him in the foot and gave the Jags points the other direction. And that particular case was the NWI not being on the same page. Then what did Tannehill do? He just turned around, put together a drive, was going back down, and Derrick Henry fumbled. And like, what is Tannehill going to do? Right? He put together that drive to get to that point. And so I feel bad. I'm starting to feel bad for Ryan Tannehill. I am, because Dennis Daly is terrible. He's got nobody that can consecutively or consistently catch the damn ball. And he's just getting hit.
If
like
you were going to feel bad for Ryan Tannehill, it would have been last year at this time. It wouldn't have been this year.
This is worse. This year's worse around him. Around Ryan Tannehill, this year is worse than last year because the offensive line's that much worse. Last year, Roger Saffold, Taylor Lewan were playing the left side. You had Dennis Daly and Aaron Brewer. It's worse. And NPF. Yeah, David Quessenberry was not too terrible compared to what this offensive line has at right tackle right now, too.
Let's see. Noob gives an A- right there. I think that's way too high. And then I did see another comment that I want to bring out. And I don't know if he's talking to us or if he's talking to somebody else on Facebook, but let's set the record straight. Charles, turn your caps lock off, but nobody loved Corey Davis or Taywan Taylor, especially this guy. So you're watching the wrong show if you think that y'all loved Corey Davis and Taywan Taylor. Wrong. So I do want to point that out. Nobody loved those guys, especially one of them I really didn't like. But right now, they are so bad offensively that I don't know. I mean, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We got a long week and we got a lot to talk about as far as identity, what they're going to do with Todd Downing, if they are going to do anything this week with Todd Downing, what the future holds, who plateaued. Is it the team? Is it Vrabel? Is it the franchise? I mean, there's so many things coming off the heels of this loss to Jacksonville. And then you have the small sprinkle of, can the Jags backdoor their way to win this division? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But they're now kind of more in the driver's seat with one win over the Titans and having a Week 18 matchup at home in their home stadium of Duval County. Very weird.
Now, somebody, Darren just said the Jags play the Cowboys and the Jets next. So the Jags have to continue to win, and the Titans have to continue to
Then they
lose.
play the Texans and the Titans.
Right.
The Cowboys showed today that they almost lost to the Texans. The Jets, dude, the Jets are a big fat phony. Mike, they have nobody at quarterback. They got they're like the Titans, to be honest. They got a good defense. They have some running, and they have a lot better weapons. They don't have an offense, and that's because they don't have a quarterback. The Titans have a quarterback. They just don't have an offensive line and wide receivers. So, look, NFL, any given Sunday, who knows what could happen? But the Jacksonville Jaguars, here's the main factor. Austin, the Titans could have slammed the door shut and solidified their playoff. They could have clinched, I believe.
No, they couldn't have. No, the Colts are going to bye.
Because the Colts are up, but the Colts are done, right? They got an interim head coach off the streets.
They could not have actually clinched today.
But, man, they would have been a thread away from clinching. But instead, as they say, and I'll steal this from our A to Z Sports Dallas team, because last week before the Cowboys played the Colts, and it was like 19-20, Cowboys were playing with their food the first half. The Titans in this season, they're playing with their food right now. Eat the damn food. Win the football games. Take this seriously and close this out. And they're just sitting there playing with their food, letting Jacksonville beat them in Nashville.
I thought the Titans were on their way to running away from the Jags. I mean, at points in that first half, I was like, man, this offense is looking good. They're moving the football. Yeah, the turnover on Daly, sure, but then all of a sudden, interception, Derrick Henry fumble. Game over. And it was over fast. So that'll wrap it up for this post-game show. We're going to have a ton of coverage. A to Z Sports.com has and will have a lot of article content. Buck Rising, Sam Phelan were at the game today at Nissan Stadium. I know they'll be in the locker room and have been in the locker room the last hour or so since the game ended. So they'll have a lot of coverage on A to Z Sports.com. Also on our YouTube channel, on our Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, on Twitter. We've got content everywhere reacting to that Titans loss to the Jags, and Buck Rising will be live tonight for A to Z Sports Primetime at 8 p.m. To react to his thoughts on the game as well. And then Zach and I will be back bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 as well on these same channels. Got to thank our sponsors out the door who have made this Titan Game Day Live great for us. This has been the Barton Insurance post-game show presented by Erie Insurance. Barton Insurance is Middle Tennessee's premier insurance provider for both personal home and auto coverage, plus small to mid-sized businesses. Barton Insurance Group, LLC.com. Mr. Good Roof, go to MrGoodRoof.com. Have them out to your home for a free estimate. Then if you need a new roof, A to Z Sports can save you $500 off a full roof replacement. Buddy Allen Carpet One giving you free in-home measures and estimates for all of your flooring needs at Buddy Allen Carpet One Nashville.com. Crumble Cookies made fresh daily. So download that Crumble Cookie app and find the nearest location near you. And BetMGM, download the BetMGM app, use our code ATOZ Sports, risk-free bet up to $1,000 with your first bet. Zach, any parting thoughts?
Miserable. Go to sleep, wake up, see what Vrabel says, see what Tannehill says, see what Henry says, and see what the Titans say this week. That's a huge – actions will speak louder than words this week. Are they just going to keep this thing status quo, or are they actually going to make some moves?
Right. All right. We will see you guys tomorrow morning at 8. Buck Rising live tonight at 8 p.m. We'll talk to you then. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Appreciate it as always.